Please make sure all of your son's things are named with labels that do not come off. Obviously, if they do lose something, if it has got their name on it, it will come back much more quickly than if it doesn't. Transition from reception to year one is huge, and the structure is very different. So, I mean, for example, today I had a couple of boys who came to me and said, "Miss Lacey, when are we having golden time?" We're not having any golden times, boys. So they are fine. It is a difficult one, because the structure is very, very different to reception. But they will get used to it. Give them a few weeks and they'll get there. Don't you worry. House points, they get them individually, but it is for the whole school. So they might get 3 house points, but it will go towards their house colour, which will either be red, green, yellow and blue. And it may well be different to the house that they were in last year, because obviously the classes have been swapped around, etc. We might end up with one class where there's sort of 7 yellows and 2 reds, so we have had to change them around a little bit. The Falcon is awarded to a house each week, the house that has the most house points, so the Golden Falcon will go to that house. We give out certificates in assembly, either for good work, star of the week, really good behaviour, etc. Maybe good eating, something like that. We'll give out certificates. Tying a tie. Try to encourage your son to tie his tie on his own. It's difficult. It gets towards the end of year one. And sometimes we will just sort of encourage the boys to try and do it on their own, so they might come home with a very odd looking tie. They think it's on their own. So, you know, encourage them with that one. Lockers are for gym bags and raincoats, so if they do bring their gym bags in, unless your teachers ask them to bring them to the classroom immediately, they'll go into the locker and we'll go and collect them to get them changed during the day. Targets. Mr. Cope, you were going to talk about targets.
Yes, so targets will go in their English book, their maths book and their PSHE RE book. The English target, if I give you an example, could be something about leaving finger spaces. It could be remembering your capital letters and full stops. Usually we give them a new target every half of term, so we'll assess it to see if they've achieved it. But if they achieve it within 2-3 weeks, then we'll give them another target. But generally, as a rule, it's about half a term. A maths target, an example might be, to start with, if I'm thinking off the top of my head, to write the numbers around the correct way. But it could also be, as time goes on, to solve word problems, or to solve word problems including multiplication, if we're extending them really far. So it can be all different levels, it can range. The RE and PSHE book, which will have a target, will usually be more of a behavioural target, or could be something as simple as tucking their shirt in before they leave the classroom, or we may even say learning how to do their tie, but it will be more of a generic target for them.
And then finally, trips, which we have said we're going to Windsor Castle on the 6th of November, but we go on, what's that?
6th of November.
6th of November, yes. And there's 1 trip each term.
Just as a general rule as well, Mr. Milne did mention it to the children today, and I think it's been out in his newsletter, about badges on blazers as well. If all badges could come off, apart from right, there's poetry ones that some boys got last term, which they can have for the rest of this term, and then they'll have to take it off. It's just so that everybody, new boys and old boys, all starting afresh, and it gives them something to try and achieve their 50 house points, 100 house points. So it's just a level playing field, and also to save you with blazers full of badges. Meeting parents, I'm sure that's me. Monday the 12th of November will be Year 1's Parents' Evening. This will be to discuss how well his son has settled into Year 1 and what his targets are currently, which we just briefly mentioned. Please use the message books which went out today, or arrange a meeting with your son's class teacher if you have any issues that arise during the year. The Future Schools meeting, looking quite far ahead, but the Future Schools meeting for 7 plus, etc. will be in the spring term. If there are any questions on that as well, it is very early to be thinking for us to know about your son's abilities and possible 7 plus at this moment in time. Ask us again then, I would say. That's probably questions. Any further questions at all? Mr. Bears has his little talk that he wants to do. Any questions?
The newsletters. Last year, reception was basically had a daily newsletter.
Yes.
Will that continue?
No, we won't be doing a daily newsletter this year. But there will be the school newsletter once
On
a
a
week.
Friday.
So if there's anything we need to relay to you for the next week, we'll put that in the newsletter for you.
Yeah, I just have one question regarding computers. If you discover then like one boy is extremely good with computers, and I'm talking about my son, I mean he's too good for his age, I would actually prefer that he spends less time on anything to do with computers.
So all work is differentiated. So the same with maths or English, there'll be boys with different levels. The same with ICT skills. Mr. Ver is very good at it. I'm not.
It really depends on what you classify as being very good. Playing Command and Conquer is
Everything,
one
all
thing,
games, all games.
word processing, PowerPoint presentations, Excel spreadsheets.
Not yet, but he can log on, he bought things on iTunes, and like, you know, I just really would like
No, that's good. That is good, but the reason we use IT or computers in school is not for programming and things like that. It's so they can, what they learn, if they can show you. And that's going to be on word processing, things like that. So a lot of boys are brilliant at computers. Last year we had Charlie Bark, who did insets for the year 2s, and he was in year 2. So he would show some of the staff how to use it. So that's fine. It all depends on what we're trying to achieve. So he might be brilliant at creating websites, but we might be looking at PowerPoints, and he doesn't know anything about that. So we'll be getting him really busy.
I noticed in the calendar as I came home, there's something about a year 1, year 2 assessment day.
Yeah.
And I don't remember that being done
Assessment week.
before, so...
In November.
So there was an assessment week. It just maybe wasn't put in the calendar.
Oh, I
It works
see.
at the same time as the year 2s.
We didn't
and
know
it's
about
just
it 2 years
yeah.
ago.
We kept it quiet. It's just again, it will just be where we assess the boys. It's quite nice as well because in their assessment week, year 2 it's very tough, but in year 1 we've actually got our school trip in that week as well, so that it's not as seen as hard for the boys and it's something for them to enjoy as well.
I'm a little confused with the homework.
So
Yes.
Is there a little note to say
So-
what needs to go back?
Well, we did. I think we all sent home different new timetables of what you need to
okay.
bring in and what you should be taking home each day. But basically, English will go out on a Monday and it will come back on a Wednesday. So you'll take it.
Notes.
Take
So
it.
it is on the
It
new
is on.
one.
It is on the new
the
one.
new one that went out today, and in
Okay.
bold up, what we've done is we've changed the mistake that I made. We've changed it so it's in bold, so you'll see where the difference in the maths homework will be.
Okay, so it's
So
all written down.
everything there should be
Yeah,
correct
it should be. If it's
I
not,
can
go
follow.
see the teacher.
Yeah.
Could you give us a guide as to how long we should be expected to spend doing homework with our son? How long we should do reading and how long everything else should take daily?
So the reading, as we said, is about 10 to 15 minutes
10 to 15
listening.
minutes, just on reading.
Just on reading.
Okay.
Don't worry if you don't finish the book. In that 10 to 15 minutes as well, if you want to make it 15 to 20, but I'd say if you want to sort of assess them, what they've read and everything, but it should definitely be no longer than 20 minutes, including all of that as well.
Right.
Homework, I know it varies for everybody, but as a general rule, we're not slave drivers. We're not giving your boys 5 hours worth of homework. Some boys might take longer, some boys obviously might take less amount of time, but we'll always give the amount of homework, and we've sort of given enough time for that homework. So if Monday, the English homework goes out on Monday,
Sure.
it won't be a 6-hour
With 2
piece of
days to
homework
complete
with
it,
2 days to
right.
complete it, so it's all,
And I'm correct in assuming that every day we should do the number bonds and also
keep reinforcing them.
the spelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there might be an evening where you can't do it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's why we've given to you on a Monday
No, I
to
understand.
learn on
That's-
Friday.
Sure.
So
Don't be too concerned about homework. I've got 3 kids as well, so my daughter's doing year 1, and she got homework she had to finish for today on Saturday, which is a rubbish day to do homework anyway. She was a little bit tired, she didn't want to do it. So I said, fine, don't have to do it. I'll just tell the teacher you can do it in your playtime. And she finished it immediately. If your son refuses to do homework or is just pretending to be tired, say, leave it. Just make a note in the homework notebook, tell the teacher that he can do it in his playtime. He'll only do it once. Because he's going to miss playtime or PE, and they hate that. So don't make your life a living hell. They will finish it in school if they can't do it. It'll only happen once.
On Fridays, I used to do a carpool, and the year 1 boy on the Friday used to wear his games kit to school, but now they have to come in their uniform and change into their games kit.
Yes.
So so every single day, Monday to Friday, they have to go to school in uniform.
yes.
Yeah.
So
The times have changed as well. Last year they had Friday, they had games at 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
so it would be quite a tough
We don't
task
go
to get them. We don't go now until
No.
10:30 we do.
thought the whole Friday was kind of
Except
outdoor
Wednesday,
activity.
So,
Is it reception not in year one anymore?
in reception it was, but
Yeah.
not,
So
yeah.
on Fridays now they'll have a spelling test, they'll have their number bonds, they'll have games, and then there's lessons in the afternoon that they'll have, and if they've worked very hard, they've got a possible golden time.
Assessment week, is it once a term or half term?
We will be doing assessments within sort of our classrooms every half a term, so to speak, but there'll be official assessment weeks, definitely once a term.
And the purpose of that is to look at groupings again and refine that, or?
It's to be able to see improvement in your sons, and to see whether there's things that we're doing well, or maybe things that we're maybe not doing so well. So in a sense, it's literally to test the boys to see where they are now, what we need, what gaps maybe they missed out on. So as you saw with the maths, for example, there's lots to cover. There might be something, a concept they didn't get. So if they don't do